Hey guys, welcome to Behind Relationship Goals with Bones and Fofo.
What's up? I'm Fofo,
And I'm Bones.
in case you guys have forgotten. But nonetheless, we have a nice episode coming up for you. But before we get to that, I think we'd like to talk about some relationship issues that we've had over the past few weeks, I would say.
Yes.
So just an update on the situation. We are still in quarantine. The ECQ is the official title, I believe. That is Enhanced Community Quarantine.
Yes.
And just a few days ago, we got notice, and I think the whole Philippines got formal notice that it is extended until April 30. I think this is just for Luzon.
There have been certain issues that have been happening in the house, meaning our relationship.
Just like any relationship, any family, any partnership, there are highs and lows. And for the first couple of weeks, I think for Bones and I, it was very calm and steady.
Yeah, we didn't have any super pitik moments, I would say.
Yeah, but just recently, maybe a week or two ago, we finally hit some road bumps. May mga lubak sa daan namin, and we had to go through it and figure out a way out of it.
And because of that, I think the whole household has been in a very chill state. In a more positive state of mind, I would say.
Kasi nalampasan natin yung mga problema na yun.
Yes.
So what exactly did happen? So what comes to mind? So I'm sure I have my own issues that come to mind. So when you think about our lows over the past few days and weeks, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
The lowest of the lows that we have both had during this ECQ was definitely the other day when we fought while working. Mick and I don't really have a lot of work now because our work is usually on the set when we're taping and we're acting. We're just lucky enough that work for us has extended into social media. While there are some brands that have put work on pause or on hold, there are some brands that are also trying to keep everything up to date and still working with influencers and artists on social media. So while we were prepping for a shoot and trying to shoot a vlog for work, things didn't go according to plan. Basically, long story short, we had a little skit that we were going to do. I was messing up my lines continuously and wasting a lot of precious time for the both of us. Fofo thought that everything was going to happen according to plan, but I wasn't being as serious as I should have been. Hence us fighting and Fofo getting frustrated at
Okay,
OMC.
let me clarify this story, okay? In simpler words, we were trying to shoot something and Bones had a part in it. And she wasn't doing it very well. And the reason she wasn't doing it very well was because she was getting conscious. And for me, that was a huge frustration for me. Because we've been together for 10 years. And we've been through way more than just her messing up her lines or not being able to perform. So I told her, hey, dude, come on. You can do this. This is nothing compared to what we've been through, compared to what you have to do on set. When you have to cry for a teleserye. So just go for it. But for whatever reason, it was so clear to me that she was still being overly conscious of herself. So I told her, don't do that because it wasn't helping. And true enough, we were shooting for an hour and we still were not able to get whatever we needed for the shot.
And just to make it clear, like, it wasn't about what Fofo said or how he said it. He was encouraging me enough and trying to be helpful. It was just me getting into my head and allowing that frustration to get to me. So we were trying to shoot it, and in the vlog that we're doing, we're supposed to be happy. Syempre, we have to represent a brand. So my conscious effort to not keep the mood down, and our mood for the both of us was obviously very, very down.
Especially after trying to film one part, which was going to be around 15 seconds long, and we were shooting it for an hour. So that was very frustrating for me because I shoot very, very fast. I'm very run and gun and just go because I kind of know what I want to shoot and how I want to shoot it.
So what happened was I told Fofo, I can't shoot this right now. And he was like, I can't shoot this either. So he went outside and I stayed in the room. I don't know what he was doing, but I cried my eyes out. Like, I could not handle it. I just needed to get all that frustration out, and I cried for a good 30 minutes. But that's me. That's how I deal with things like this. I cry it out, and then I let it go, and then I'm okay.
Okay, so let's level with ourselves and share it to the audience at the moment. For me, it was nothing. From a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of weight in terms of magnitude in our lives. It was like a point one.
Yeah, it was. But I think with everything else that's happening around us, and then the adjustment that we've had to do in terms of not being able to go to work, not knowing if work is going to come in for us, and also staying cooped inside a house, for X amount of days, all of that adds up. And this was kind of a tipping point for us.
Was it really?
Well, for me, it was.
Okay, so for you, that's how you felt. But for me, it was very simple. Bones has this personality trait where she can become very insecure. And it's a very surprising trait for me to say, to describe her, because she's our Miss World 2013. And you would think that she is the epitome of security and being able to handle herself with poise and grace. But there are certain aspects and certain situations where her insecurities definitely come to the forefront. And I think this situation, in its bare essence, was really just your insecurities coming out.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was.
So I had to come to terms with that. So on my side, after I got frustrated because I knew that at the core it was your insecurities coming out, I just had to take my time out. I had to recalibrate myself and just
Recalibrate in what way? Because
let my emotions simmer.
Okay.
And figure out, okay, what went wrong? What could both of us have done to make that better?
Yeah.
So after that, after maybe an hour and a half, I went back into the room. I saw Boni's. She was crying, or she had cried. And I told her, hey, you can easily do this. You can sleepwalk through this. You've done things a million times more difficult than this.
Yeah.
It's just that your personality got in the way of this particular situation and this particular moment. And she agreed. Did you agree?
I agreed, because I know that I can do this, because it's part of our job and we do it over and over again, and we have done it over and over again. But you're right. I did let that fear and insecurity get in the way, and I just made sure that I let out my frustration.
Yeah, and I know that for you, it added that you were being insecure and then I was there.
Yeah, nahiya ako sa'yo.
Nahiya siya sa akin. And then for me naman, it was even crazy. It was the opposite effect for me. I was like, it's me here. Bakit ka pa nahihiya sa akin?
No, you know why? Because every time that I would make a mistake, I would feel so bad, because I always want to make sure that I'm doing the best I can to help you. And I didn't feel that I was helping you out.
I know. But I mean, I think this is a great example for everyone. It really is. And she's getting emotional already. No, but this is a great example for everyone. So in this situation, we were both working together and Bonizi was making mistakes. And for her, she was getting more insecure because she was with someone who is so important to her. But from my point of view, I was wondering and getting frustrated because she was getting insecure and I was the one there in front of
Because
her.
in your eyes, you're thinking, isn't she comfortable enough with me? Like, why does she have to feel shy and insecure about something like this? Like, doesn't she trust me? Like, I see where you're coming from also.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's important that you guys talk about things like this with your partners, so that you realize where another is coming from. And what we did is we didn't like fight over it, but we let ourselves cool down and we reflected on what happened and why we thought these things.
Yeah, because in the moment, you're never going to be able to catch yourselves, especially when your emotions run high. Even though you're aware of it, because of your heightened emotions, you can't process it. You can't really talk to your partner about it. So you read that cooling off period of an hour and a half, which is quite short for most couples, I'd say. That was very important. But I really like, now that we're talking about this situation, so many observations come out.
Yeah.
And even
so many
though,
observations that we haven't even talked about yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that even though we've been together for over a decade, we still come across these kinds of misunderstandings simply because we're different people. And that's never going to change. And I think that particular reason will almost always be a reason for us to fight or argue or get into some sort of problem.
Because if you think about it, both of us were coming from a place of love and care.
Yeah.
So I was worried that, I wasn't helping you, and you were thinking, what's happening with Bones? I want to make sure that she's okay and that she's comfortable, but what's happening? Why isn't she comfortable with me?
Yeah. So, hey, that was actually pretty cool. So I think to summarize the issue that we both had, I think the most important tool that we had in our relationship was being able to settle down quickly and talk about it.
You know what's great about that moment, like even though we had that struggle and we had that misunderstanding, is that before, when we would have like our little fights like this, which rarely happened, but when we would have it, I wouldn't want to talk about it because I would be too scared of what you were going to say, like, or you getting angrier. And you wanted to tackle everything right away back then. Mm-hmm. Like if there was a problem, be like, what's the problem? Let's fix this. Mm-hmm. But now we've reached a point where we can actually step back and take a look at what's happening and then tackle the situation.
Yeah. So, hey, yeah, that's good. That was good. This is actually the first time we talked about that issue in depth. So even we're learning more about ourselves as we're doing the podcast. Hey, this podcast is therapeutic even for us. Hopefully it is even for you guys.
But now that you say that, it's funny because the other day we were saying, hey, we didn't really get to talk a lot today.
Oh, yeah. I said that. So I told Bones, hey, I didn't get to talk to you. And for whatever reason, it was more of a joke for me. It was like 80% joking, 20% true. But for Bones, it kind of resonated with her. I think to a certain point, you felt guilty. And just saying, I think that Bones felt guilty because she was aware that she was playing a lot of games.
Yes, I admit that I have been playing a lot of games. I play them in the morning when I wake up and just before I go to bed and sometimes in between the day. But it has been a lot, and it's been a lot more than I usually do. And I felt guilty that hindi ko napapansin si Fofo, or that we haven't had any decent conversations together.
I don't mind because I'm playing my games too. Dude, I don't miss you. Excuse me.
It's true.
She's just feeling guilty because she was playing her games and she wasn't thinking of me. But that's fine. My only thing is that when it comes down to work, and there are times that we have to work throughout the day, I just want us to be there. I want us to be efficient, and I want us to do the work well. That's it. So as long as we do our work well and you take care of our responsibilities and obligations, which we still have regardless of the lockdown, then I'm okay. Play your games all you want.
I think it's also important to have, like, you should be productive, but I think there are also days that it's okay to not be as productive considering what's happening. I think it's okay to let your mind relax and just wander on certain days, because with everything that's happening, there's a lot of stress that comes with it, especially for a lot of business owners, a lot of people that work on a no work, no pay basis. There's a lot of stress that comes, with everything. And I think it's healthy to just be in your own space sometimes, because you need that every so often. That's why sometimes we have days where you and I both really work hard at editing. We work hard for, our content for the future. But we also have days where we don't do anything. We don't even look at social media.
True. I actually have 2 cents about this.
Okay.
I've been thinking about this because it's such a huge issue amongst ourselves as an individual, amongst our peers and the people who we live with here in the condo, and people on social media. People are always talking about it. Hey, try to be productive, try to do this, try to do that. You have so much time. Don't just lollygag, or don't just game, or don't just entertain yourself. But I've gotten to think about it, and I think I've been able to refine my stance on it. Mm-hmm. I will use my brother as an example, who is the general manager of a company. So there is absolutely no work for this company to be done.
Yes.
Because the current situation does not allow for it.
Yeah.
But of course, him being the GM, he wants to be proactive.
Mm-hmm.
So in one day, he was able to conference call with all of his employees. He was able to tell them what the plan was moving forward, what was going to happen. He was able to email some clients, email some agencies to say, hey, we're still here if ever you need us. Maybe we can do some remote work if possible.
Yeah.
And all of that maybe took around less than half a day, less than 4 hours. And then towards the end of the day, he went up to me and he was like, "Hey, you know what? I feel like I should be doing more and doing this."
Yeah.
And then I told him, "Stop." Because you could see the stress, you could see the anxiety, and you could see the pressure for him to produce.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I told him, "This morning, did you do everything that you could for your company? Did you do everything in your power?" He was like, "Yes." And it just so happens that all that work and productivity was done in just a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up because you're not working the whole day. I think for some people, they equate productivity
To X
with-
amount of hours working.
to X amount of hours working. But instead of working hard, why don't you work smart?
Yeah.
Instead of working long hours, work smart. And I think that is what he was unconsciously able to do.
I think that's something that I also need to learn because I feel somewhat unproductive if I don't spend X amount of time on something.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great new perspective that I can adapt to.
Right? If you're a daily vlogger and you're the fastest editor in the world and you can churn out a vlog in 30 minutes, then you have the rest of the day to play games. And if you want to play games for 23 hours and then make a vlog for just 30 minutes, kung nagawa mo naman yung trabaho mo, magaling ka lang talaga at efficient ka lang
Yeah.
talaga sa ginagawa mo, edi, wala kami masasabi, diba?
Yeah.
I don't think people should force you to do more. Uy, magaling ka, do more, do more. It's like, no. You did what you had to do. You met your quota for the day. You set the bar, you set the standard. So if you meet it, then be happy and enjoy the free time. It's important to enjoy. That's part of like work-life balance, I'd say.
And I think it's also with, the current situation that we're all at home. And a lot of people that have day jobs, most often than not, their work is outside of the home. So their routine is also very different. So conditioning your mind and even your body to adapting to a new routine maybe is also something that you could start doing on a daily basis.
Yeah. So there, my point is just don't stress out about not doing work for hours. As long as you do what you have to do for the day, enjoy yourself for the rest of the day. That's okay. But relax. Try to manage your anxiety and stress. And there you go. I think that wraps up the relationship part of this podcast. That was actually a lot deeper than we thought.
Yeah, I thought we were just going to like run through it real quickly and then get on to the main topic of the podcast.
And for those watching on video, I'm sure you guys have noticed Soba popping up every now and then. We have a new setup. We forgot to mention that. We jumped straight into the content. But now is a nice time to acknowledge our new setup. We have several rooms in this condo. We decided, why don't we kind of shake things up, do something different. And I'm really liking this setup. And you guys can see Soba in all her cuteness. This is how she is when we're trying to sleep. She's just moving around from spot to spot, making people kulit. And I like the freedom that we're giving her in the podcast.
I also like this new setup because we used to shoot the podcast in the living room and it kind of just crutched everybody's movement and then people couldn't really do what they wanted to do, and it's such a common space for the condo. So having it in the room gives us more time to just really relax and do the podcast at our own pace and our own time.
We don't have to rush because when we used to do it in the living room, we had to finish very, very quickly because others wanted to use the living room and relax and lounge around or maybe eat dinner. So, yeah. But anyway, we're moving on to the second part of this podcast where we are talking about recommendations that we have to keep you guys entertained.
Yeah, so during this quarantine, I'm sure the first thing that everybody thought was, oh, I'm going to watch all the shows that I can watch. I'm going to like do everything that I want to do, be so productive. But honestly, I haven't really been able to watch anything na tuloy-tuloy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's only just recently when Westworld came out that I'm watching something continuously.
I think for other people naman, or what I've heard from some of my friends, their dilemma is that nauumay na sila kasi ang dami na nilang napapanood. And sometimes it's not always of great quality, or sometimes they're just getting tired of watching and they're running out of things to do. So in this segment, we're going to be sharing some of our recommendations, maybe in hopes of giving you guys something fresh, maybe sharing something that we've been enjoying and in hopes you might enjoy as well.
All right. So first on the list is something that I mentioned. It's Westworld, and they're currently on season 3. We watched this show and followed the show by heart. Like every time an episode came out, we would watch it ASAP, watch all the Easter egg videos that came out after this. And it's definitely been at the top of our list for quite a while.
I absolutely love Westworld. We're on season 3 at the moment. I watched season 1 and 2 real time. And I think the amazing thing about this one is that the first Monday that quarantine started, that was the first episode of season 3 that came out.
Yeah.
And they were coming out after a year and a half break. So gigil na gigil ako just to watch. It's a very...
in-depth show.
Yeah, it's a show that really captures you and captures your imagination and your time and your attention. Crazy thing about it was because it started on the first Monday of the quarantine, it has kind of become my personal quarantine show. Because it's only released every Monday at 10 a.m. So
In
you
the
can't
Philippines.
binge it. Yeah, you cannot binge this. You have to wait every Monday. So it's been a nice patient waiting game for me and Bones. But every Monday, we're super duper excited. We get up, make our coffee, make our breakfast. Then while we're drinking and eating, we're watching Westworld.
So what is the one thing that got you hooked on Westworld?
Westworld is an HBO-produced TV show. And I think coming from Game of Thrones, it's very clear to people the kind of quality they are going to get from Westworld. Even if I haven't personally watched Game of Thrones, I know mortal sin to some of you guys there. But wow, Westworld in terms of storytelling, acting, production, writing, directing, every single element of it is absolutely excellent. If you enjoyed Game of Thrones for the quality that it gave you, you will also enjoy Westworld, I promise.
What I enjoyed the most about Westworld are the little surprises that you would get in the storytelling. Like you would think that the story would go point A and then it would go all the way to point Z na pala. Something out of this world would always happen.
I think the specialty of Westworld are two things in terms of what you said. Cliffhanging and misdirecting.
Grabe.
So-
Grabe sila mag-misdirect.
Grabe. So every episode is a cliffhanger. And then because it's a cliffhanger, it's developed a community where YouTubers review and theorize about an episode's cliffhanger.
And what's so cool about it is that there are always little clues or Easter eggs nga. So
Yeah.
they plant all these clues in the episode, even in like the beginning where they show the credits. Lahat yan may mga maliliit na clues for what could happen in the next episodes.
And then another strength is misdirection. So from all those clues, they're leading you to think one thing, and then all of a sudden, it's a completely different ending. So that's such an enjoyable part of the show, aside from the quality that you can see when you're watching it. But definitely, number one on my list of recommendations would be Westworld.
Who is your favorite character in Westworld without spoiling anything?
I like Evan Rachel Wood because it's my first time to actually watch her on a TV show. I've known of her.
Yeah.
And she's so pretty
Grabe
and
ganda
such a
niya.
great actress.
Sobra.
So a combination of those two, talent and beauty, I'm like, oh, love you. So.
I like the actress that plays Maeve.
Oh yeah, no, Thandie Newton.
I love her.
This was the Mission Impossible girl in MI2, I think.
But anyways, I love Maeve, and she's one character who, I don't know, it's just the way that she acts.
Her gravitas.
Anong gravitas?
Yung demeanor and yung dating niya.
Yeah,
Iba.
ang lakas-lakas ng dating niya para sa akin. Here's another question. If there was a character that you could play in Westworld, who would it be?
A character who I would play as an actor or whom I would be?
Whom you could play as an actor.
A character whom I could play as an actor. Wow.
So, grabe yung
It's so
dynamic.
challenging. It's so challenging because one of the actresses in Westworld described acting there as the acting Olympics.
I can imagine.
Because you're required to shift from emotion to emotion without any transition because they're robots.
Yeah.
The other hosts. And sometimes they're angry, then split second, next frame, they're sad. And then they're happy. And then no emotion. So it's crazy. It's crazy. It's such a different way, an unusual way of acting. So if I had to choose a character, I would have to say I would like to play. I like Aaron Paul's character, but then again, I think that's a
Really?
safe choice.
That's a safe choice.
That's a safe
Because
choice.
we don't know
I
much
think I
about his
chose-
character yet.
Yeah, I think I'm choosing him because I can relate to him. Obviously, he's human. So if I were to pick a host character, then I would pick Maeve's character. I was picking
Really?
between Dolores and Maeve. I think those are the only two you can choose from, really. I would go Thandie Newton because I like the nuance that is required to play that character, and that would be such a challenge.
I would want to play Bernard.
Ooh, yeah, no, that's good too.
I would want to
Yeah,
play
that's good too.
Bernard. Like, I really liked him in season 1 and season 2. I'm not quite sure yet about season 3 if I like him or not. Because he's medyo getting on my nerves.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
a little bit. But I really liked him in season 1. So that's definitely a character I would want to play.
Cool.
All right, so the next recommendation is more of Fofo's recommendation because he's seen all 3 seasons.
Okay, so if I have a top 1, this is my top 1B. So Westworld is 1A. My 1B recommendation for your quarantine is Ozark Season 3.
Season 3 lang.
Now, Season 1 and 2, they're amazing. Okay, they're amazing, but not overly memorable. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
Great content.
I watched season 1, so I know. Yes.
But Season 3, absolutely. Oh my God. And it was because of the acting. There were characters there. I don't even want to name who, but there were characters there. When you watch it, you will know and you will comment on this podcast and let me know who and how amazing those people were. And I would say it was the greatest acting piece I have ever seen in my life.
one
just
night, yeah.
Only
go.
because of the authenticity and the effort that they put into their characters. Like, they went into that set and they wanted to be amazing. Meaning they prepared for it,
Yeah.
they studied for it, and they made sure that they hit their marks. And saludo lang talaga ako dun sa ganong klaseng trabaho. It was the work ethic that shone through eh.
Yeah. Nakita mo habang nanonood
Nakita
ka.
ko at naramdaman ko eh. Ang galing, tapos naramdaman ko pa yung hirap na kinailangan ng ganong klaseng pag-aarte.
I haven't seen it. So I'm catching up. I'm on season 2 right now. I'm still catching up.
I
But
almost never mandate Bones to do anything, but for this quarantine, I told Bones, it is mandatory that you watch Ozark season 3. This is the first time
Yeah.
I'm asking you to watch something, no matter what. And Ozark season 3 is it.
I was like, I want to watch this. And he's like, no, you can't watch anything else. This is the only time I'm going to tell you you have to watch Ozark.
So there, you know what? I might even put Ozark above Westworld right now.
Really?
Ozark season 3. Yeah, sorry. 1 is Ozark season 3. 2 is Westworld.
I am so shocked.
Yeah.
Wow, because like the other night while Fofo was watching the last couple episodes of Ozark, he didn't want to stop until he finished it. And by the end, he was crying. Like he was really crying his eyes out. And I was like, are you okay? And he was like, yeah, it's just, and like he couldn't help it. He had to like cover his face. He was like, it was just so good.
Yeah, but I mean, that wasn't even the reason. That wasn't even the reason of why it was good.
Okay, don't spoil it.
Yeah,
Let's
that was
let's
like
just
a
leave it
part
at
of
that.
But anyway, yeah. Moving on. So we have Westworld, number 2 for me, and Ozark season 3 at number 1. What else do you got?
Okay, my recommendation is this is Bones' recommendation. And I typically like watching things, like I have moments. So there are moments when I want to watch something really heavy or something really like documentary style. And then I have a phase where I want to watch something light. So if you're in that mood to watch something light and fun, I recommend watching the K-drama Fight for My Way. So Fofo does not know anything.
I was about to say, I know
About
nothing
this.
about that.
He doesn't know anything about this show. And it's basically about an MMA fighter and his relationship with his childhood friend or love. And one of the reasons why I like this show so much is because the chemistry is just so strong between the characters. The main characters, the guy and the girl. Fofo, when you watch it, para talaga silang magjowa na totoo. As in. And you know who the lead character is?
Who?
Si PSG.
Oh, yeah. Favorite mo yun. Favorite mo yun.
Favorite ko yun. But I watched that. Soba.
Soba is going crazy. Soba!
It's going crazy over Atale. One of the reasons why I want to recommend this to everyone is because it just made me feel so happy and kilig. And if you feel like you're in that moment where you want something super happy and kilig, this is what you go for. One of the reasons why I want to watch this over and over again, I was even watching clips of it while you were watching Ozark, is because the character Dongman, which is the guy, his lambing reminds me of Fofo.
Ah, that's interesting. I would like
Yeah.
to see clips of that.
Like, not his whole like character per se, pero definitely yung paglalambing niya dun sa mga girls. Sa girl. Ang dami, diba? It definitely resonates with Fofo.
I'm so sorry, Bones. I was listening. So
No, you were
Soba
not.
was being makulit.
Ay nako. Ay nako.
Yeah, but there. So we have Ozark season 3, we have Westworld, and we have Fight
for my way.
I totally wasn't
Hindi ka
listening.
talaga
I'm so sorry.
nakikinig sa akin. All right, so those are our 3 recommendations. We have Westworld, Ozark, and Fight for My Way.
Yeah, and if you want to suggest your own recommendations to us, please feel free to do so in the comment section. We will be coming out with another podcast very, very soon after this.
Because we're shooting it right after this one.
Because we're shooting it right after this one. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this particular episode. See you guys.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.